This is Batley, where things happen. Although today we're in Dewsbury at a place called Warrior Breed. And today I'm here with Malaika, who is hopefully going to become a future world boxing champion. Do you just want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Malaika Atique. I'm 19 years old. I've been boxing since I was about 12. I box out of Warrior Breed. We're located in Seaton, and I'm studying as well at University of Huddersfield, accounting and finance.
And what is it that you're trying to accomplish here?
Well, I want to go professional soon. Hopefully, I want to go all the way, world level, inshallah. And I want, like young girls my age or even younger than me, South Asians or even just Asians, anyone ethnic, to see what I'm doing and be a bit inspired and open the doors for them so that they can do the same.
Brilliant. And what is the driving force behind what you do? Why did you start boxing? Out of all the things that you could have done, why boxing? What's driving you to do this? And inshallah, becoming successful in the future. What is the passion behind all of this?
Well, to be honest, the reason I started it was to kind of put my energy into something positive. In school, I had a lot of energy, but I channeled it the wrong way. So I was always messing about, always getting in trouble. But that's not the way I was raised. I was raised by my mum and my sisters, and they raised me better than that. So, when I mentioned boxing, obviously they did worry and whatnot, but they kind of knew that that was me kind of like trying to put myself onto the right path. And alhamdulillah, since I started boxing, I changed completely as a person. It disciplines you, and even then, they knew how to use it. So it was like, you get detention in school, that's it, no training for the week. So, that was my motivation to stay on the right track, and it worked completely.
So, what are some of the challenges that you've faced up until now?
Yeah, so growing up, obviously I was raised in a single parent household.
Okay.
My mum and my sisters, they raised me all on their own, all off their own back. I never had no cousins, no aunties, no uncles, to give a helping hand to them. And obviously my sisters were kids themselves, and they had to put their all into raising me. And same with my mum, she had nobody else to fall back on apart from herself. So, her being on her own 2 feet and putting everything into raising me, that's the reason why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I want to make something of myself. I don't want her effort to go to waste, so I owe it to them in a sense.
As a female Muslim Asian Pakistani boxer, has that come with challenges as well, or have you generally been supported, or what's the kind of feedback been like?
I think, well, it has been a mix of both. I do get my support. I'm not going to stand and say I don't, but at the same time, you get a lot of hate from me. You get a lot of negativity. Like, first time we posted on social media and put out there that I'm Pakistani, Asian, female, Muslim, you get a lot of comments, coming from like racial comments and stuff like that, profiling you, saying, oh, like, you're not going to last long, it's not a sport for girls, or it's not a sport for Asian girls, Pakistani, glass chin, or you get all sorts. But it's just something you kind of sit down and laugh about. Like, they don't know me as a person. All they know is what I'm Asian, Pakistani female, but that's what I'm letting them know. They don't know me personally. They don't know what I've been through, and it's going to take a lot more than that to get me off. So,
So that's actually a very good answer. Going forward from here, then, what kind of challenges or obstacles do you see yourself facing, and what kind of support do you think you need now from the community, from other people, and just generally?
well, yeah. So since I've started boxing, I've never really gone out on my way to look for sponsorships or any kind of support like that. We've kind of always done it off our own back, especially Uncle Z as well. So whenever I've gone out for competitions, my first fight was 3 hours away. We had to stay the night. I didn't pay for a single thing. Uncle did it all out of his own pocket. And as an amateur boxing gym, you don't get money. You don't get no funding. You do it all off your own back. You put your time into it. You put your effort. A lot of the time, my coaches don't get paid, but they still, the way they train me and the effort they put into me is as though they do. And I just want it so that I can kind of give back to them, and I don't want them to spend out of their own pocket and have to go through all of that stress just so I can progress in the sport. That's why now, like, I'm starting to step into it. I'm starting to get my name out there because I know there's funding available. I know there's help out there that people would want to help. I just don't think that they know that that they could be helping, and stuff like that. And yeah, I've had a lot of challenges, like health wise as well. So I've had to take time off here and there, and it's been a bit hard to keep the gym running and stuff, with because I'm a coach as well. So it's a bit hard, when I'm taking time off, then it's harder for Uncle. He's got to be in for all the classes, he's got to do it all off his own back. So, just that kind of help there, a bit of funding, or even if it's not funding, even if it's just like emotional support, moral support, just showing up to fights and whatnot, even stuff like that, it makes a difference to us.
Excellent. And as a boxing athlete, we hear stories about what it takes in terms of discipline and dedication. What's like your kind of routine here, and how are you balancing that with your studies and your family life?
Yeah, so typically I'll train twice a day, usually 6 days a week. It alters depending on how I'm feeling physically. But yeah, so usually what I'll do is I'll get a session out in the morning. So I am at uni as well, 5 days a week. So I'll go for like a run or something in the morning, or some kind of training session in the morning, whatever uncle's got planned for me. I'll go to uni during the day, get my meals in. Then on an evening, 7:30, I'm here in the gym for my boxing session. Usually that's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Then Tuesday, Saturdays, I have boxing sessions as well, just slightly different timings. With my runs, they like every other day, and I've got a few strength and conditioning sessions that are working as well. But typically, what I'll do is I'll have one training session in the morning. I'll have a bit of time for uni, get my work in. Then on an evening, I'm back in the gym. Yeah, so it is very hard, and I think it's harder as an amateur because you don't get paid for it, and you've got to kind of prioritize the real world, like uni, work, stuff like that. I know a lot of amateurs, they work as well, and that's their way of getting the money in so that they can afford to box, because it's an expensive sport. It's hard to do.
Right, that's absolutely brilliant. Hats off to the dedication there. So, how many fights have you already had? What's next, and when do you anticipate going pro?
So I've had 3 fights so far. My last one was a tournament. It was called the Winter Box Cup. I come away with a win there. So hopefully now we're entering another tournament called NACs. It's basically the National Senior Tournament. So obviously whoever wins that tournament, they'll be national champ for their weight category and all of that. That's around about March time. So I'll be training throughout Rose. I'll get in my 2 sessions in round about, when I open and close my fast. And yeah, so we're working very hard towards that, because I'll be fighting people way more experienced than me. I've had 3 fights. A lot of people in my category have had about 15, 16, but we still take them fights. We're not going to back down from it. And yeah, inshallah, when I get that title, I want to enter a few more tournaments or competitions that are coming up, even a few like club bouts. My best bet usually is getting fights through tournaments, because it's hard for me to find opponents. And
Okay.
so when I go through tournaments, everybody in my weight class is there.
Right.
So it's almost guaranteed I get a fight.
Okay.
So that's why we're entering a lot of tournaments. There's about 2, 3 I've got lined up this year, inshallah. And then towards the end of the year, just sit down, review everything that's going on, review my record, and hopefully we're looking to turn pro. Once I've got my experience in the amateurs, just don't really want to rush it. I'm 19, so I know I've got time to kill, but it's not something that we're going to drag on either. Hopefully, by next year, see how the year is looking, see what we've got planned, and maybe inshallah go pro.
Cool. So you just mentioned obviously opponents, and I think you're struggling to find opponents to fight. So what's that kind of struggle been, and where are you having to go to get these fights, or even spar and train with adequate opponents?
So we've had this struggle for a while now. That's why I've only had 3 fights, but I've been in the gym all day, every day. It's just been really hard to find a fight. Like my last opponent, we fought near Manchester, but originally they were from London sides, and that was the only opponent in my weight category that I had. So all the way from London. Even just like sparring someone in my category or someone with my experience, we've had to travel all over. Uncle's taken me Liverpool, Skegness. We've got plans to go down London just to train. So whenever we look at the people in my category and who could be potential opponents, there's nobody within, like, I'd say probably the closest is like 2.5 hours. And the issue is, with club bouts, I've had a few clubs that are hosting shows, and they said to me, oh, like, we'd love to have you on the show kind of thing, but it's just that it's hard for us to find an opponent, and for them, if they were to find an opponent, they'd have to pay all the expenses for them to come down, stay over, and fight me basically. And for them to pay all of that, it's a lot for that club. So a lot of them, they want me on their show, but they're not kind of willing to pay them expenses. So that's why we struggle so much.
Do you need to go international for this as well then, or?
Yeah, so we actually have. I did apply to fight in Sweden. It was a very big tournament called Golden Girls, but we didn't hear anything back from them either about matchmaking. So we didn't fly down because there was nobody for me to fight there either.
Okay.
But we are kind of tapping into international. We don't know too much about it. We're not too experienced in flying out and stuff like that, but we're willing to. So any international tournaments we hear about, we enter, and you know, if we get a match, then we fly out straight away.
That's excellent. And just one final question. Who do you want to inspire, and who do you think this will open pathways for in the future with what you're doing?
Well, I'm hoping to inspire like young Asian girls, you know, like myself. I started when I was 12, and I know how like it's daunting, it's a bit scary walking into a gym, you know, being like I've been the only girl in my gym for ages, and now, you know, I coach these little kids and I'm seeing little girls walk through the door, and, you know, it makes me happy that, you know, they can walk in and they see a coach that looks like them but older. So, you know, I know they're a bit comfortable. I know a lot of the kids confide as well. That's why, you know, I put a bit of time into coaching as well, because I think it's important, you know, putting that time back into the youth and, you know, letting them see me as a young boxer and look up to me kind of thing. And they know if I can do it, then, you know, so can they. There's nothing stopping them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that, Malaika. Wishing you all the best for the future, the fights and the training. So there you have it. This is a story and a half. Dewsbury, a place that is typically knocked off. Asian, British, Muslim woman fighter, knocked off. So this is going to be a story and a half. So it's definitely something. If you're a business or just someone in general that wants to sponsor and help out, this is a story that you will want to be a part of, because it's just fantastic, not only for Malaika herself, but what it represents for the community and for people, especially young girls in towns that typically don't get the support and the help they need. This is a role model that we need to get out there, and definitely something you should consider supporting.